name is Halema Hussain, 28, and I am an actress based in southwest London. I'm from Bristol originally. I love acting, but I love cooking, I love baking, I love finding creativity in different formats outside of acting. I'm one of 6 kids, so there's a lot of us, and we're all, though I'm probably the main creative out of the family, we're all quite creative. We all kind of like, we talk about something and then someone will say a word or a sentence that springs a song lyric to mind, and then we're singing that song together. So we are, unusually creative. I don't know what to say about myself.
But then, I always start my interviews kind of going back to your beginnings. When did you kind of know you wanted to act?
Yeah, I mean, originally, I actually wanted to be a lawyer when I was in primary school. Like, I remember it so vividly. I was in year 6, and like they kind of asked us like what we wanted to do with our lives, like our goals, and I had written out like in this form like everything that I wanted to do, and I was like, by 25 I'll be married, I'll have a dog. I don't even like dogs that much. I'll have a cat, I'll have 3 kids, I'll be a lawyer, I'll have my own car, I'll have my own house. And obviously by the time I turned 25, none of the things from the list materialised in real life, so that's quite funny. But I was really passionate about being a lawyer, just, fighting a good fight and being the underdog, but giving a voice to the voiceless kind of thing. And that changed. Very big things for someone in year 6 to have, but that all changed when I started secondary school and I had my first drama lesson. And it was the freedom, it became freedom later on, but it was the ability to escape my world and myself and be something and someone else. And that was such a revelation, like that thought never occurred to me that was a possibility. And I loved it, and I got so immersed into it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. So the first drama lesson I had, that was it for me. And then being a lawyer and desires of being a lawyer was just very much a thing of the past.
Amazing. And were there any kind of people or performances that had that big impact that you kind of, that was the moment, like, oh, that's for me?
Gosh, I can't think of like one specific thing. I think growing up, I watched a lot of TV, like a lot of films, lots of Bollywood films with my family, lots of action films. Like my dad's very much into action films. My mum loves Bollywood, and like me and my siblings, we kind of found a middle ground of that. I just loved watching different worlds created. Like there wasn't a specific thing. I was like, oh my God, I want to be in that world.
Yeah.
I loved it all, and I thought, gosh, how do I get into that? It was mainly TV and films that kind of became a way into exploring acting. Theatre didn't really come until later, really because we as a family never went to theatre. I'm one of 6 kids, we couldn't afford it, we're really working class. So it wasn't until I took acting a lot more seriously, like in college, that I started going to the theatre and experiencing that side of everything. But film and TV was absolutely a way in. I just loved how opulent and rich it was, and like that we are watching these contained worlds, and I just loved the magic of it all. Yeah.
Yes. And then on to Liberation Squares, where you were obviously in rehearsals for now. What can you then tell me about your character within the world of the play, please?
Yes, so I play Xara Hussain, no relation. From Bristol, no relation. And Xara is a really bubbly, outgoing, creative, passionate young girl. She loves to, I think, educate in her own unique way. She's really big on social media, but also really big on connecting with people online regarding events or people, historical people, that not everyone may know about. I think, but beneath all of that bubble and like warm social friendliness, she is quite lonely. She is very much to herself. She doesn't really have, she's got a good family unit. It's just everyone's dotted around all over the place. So she is left to her own devices a lot of the time. And she's moved around a lot of her life. And so when we meet Xara, she's in London and she starts at the same secondary school as Rakaya and Sabi. And she hits it off instantly with Rakaya, which kind of causes some tension between Rakaya and Sabi's friendship. What does that mean? Zara's kind of introduction mean for their friendship?
Yeah.
But throughout the play, you know, a situation that affects them all individually, but collectively kind of brings them together. And it's about, you know, a story about sisterhood, forming unlikely friendships, and like how you kind of overcome obstacles that life or society may throw at you.
And was there anything that drew you to this piece in particular?
I really loved the way Sonali wrote a really beautiful, but also like funny play. I think when you're dealing with a topic like prevent, and even in rehearsals, like it's been an ongoing kind of conversation, like whether we realise it or not, it's something that affects all of us, not just specific demographics that live in the UK. And I think by nature, it is such an absurd and complex and confusing thing to break down access and then try and educate someone on. But what Sonali has written is something that is so deeply relatable, and really funny, that like you, from the moment the play starts, you're just completely with the three girls. They are so lovable, they are so beautiful, and they are so just kind-natured that you allow yourself to be taken on a journey that has so many twists and turns, and that also it's something that you do want to learn more about. I think there is such moments of tenderness. There's absolute, like, what the hell am I watching kind of moments in that, like, it's pure comedy, but it's so rooted in realism for the girls anyway. And the creative team, like the sound production, Elena creates some beautiful music and beautiful soundscapes with Vanika, one of the other actresses, who's just phenomenal at beatboxing, and the way Thomas has staged the play, it's done in a way, it's like half classroom, half like surreal, kind of like a no man's land, in the sense of like, we don't know where you're going to be taken to next. It's visually great, and narratively wise, it's just a really exciting play to be working on.
And did any of the characters' experience kind of mirror anything that you lived through yourself? I think there's ways in which I think
Like, yes and no, not to the degree in which the girls kind of like what they go through, but in terms of being ostracized by people in your community or people outside of your community, and you know, like definitely like post Brexit, post 9/11, all that kind of stuff. Like people, I remember. Oh my gosh, sorry. I don't know what that sound was. Sound of danger.
Yeah.
But sorry. But like when those kind of events happened, there was it felt seismic, the shift in how people related to me, how people wanted to talk to me. I felt like I had done something wrong, even though like I am born and bred British. It was those events that happened made me feel like I wasn't British, or that my Britishness was conditional based on how I behaved, what I did, how I moved about. And that was quite unsettling. And I don't think, if I'm honest, that feeling has ever dissipated over the years. That is a word.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I don't think that is a feeling, unfortunately, that will ever die down. But I think what has died down is people's attitudes to it. I think it was really quite pertinent at school because, I mean, my school experience, it was like life or death. My whole life was school. You know, I didn't actually, if we think back to it, you don't spend that much time at home when you're at primary school, secondary school, college. Like, your whole life is there, and it does feel like a vacuum. So when those events happened, for me, it felt like no escape, even though I had no bearing, no part, no influence in it. I am a teenager.
Yeah.
But kind of being asked about it, being quizzed, being interrogated about it, it made me, you know, it definitely put the blinkers on. And like my very first, you know, experiences of racism were at primary school, secondary school. And you know, when you are young and you're kind of forced in a conversation that you had no part in, and then you have to figure out what this is and your feelings around it, they're quite loaded things that you don't fully break down or understand or even have the language to articulate until way later when you are more informed. So yeah, absolutely, I can relate to all three of the girls in many different ways, which I think would be a very important viewing for people, even if they don't experience it, even if they have no connection to the subject matter. It's so important for everyone of all backgrounds to watch, to be informed, because yeah, like I said, in today's day and age, these things could happen to anyone. Yeah.
And obviously it's a play about friendship, and it's heart and cause. Mm-hmm. What's it like when you're thrown in that rehearsal room with these two other actresses? What's that like?
Oh, it's been such a joy. Like, we get on so well. Millie's created and cast a really it's just the perfect group of people. It's not felt like rehearsals. We've kind of, myself, Anika and Asha, we were saying like we are each other's characters. Like, we can't see each other play any other characters. And I can't imagine anyone else playing Rakaya and Sabi. We get on so well. Like, it feels like we've known each other longer than the rehearsal process. And I think when you have that feeling, it's just really special, because it's like, oh my God, all this potential, and we've not even really got into the thick of it yet. Like, it's just, I'm excited to see where everything kind of grows with this as a foundation. But no, we're in digs at the moment in Nottingham, because we opened the show here. And we've got our own rooms, but we do kind of occasionally like meet in one person's room to like have a little bit of debrief, a cup of tea or whatnot. I went to London over the weekend because it's our final weekend off before it all kind of kicks off.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, Asha, she didn't go back up to London because she was like, I don't need to. So then when I came back, I was like, oh, you're more than welcome to come through. And then she did, and we had a really, really lovely catch up.
Yeah.
And then I ended up feeding her, and it was just like, it's just, yeah, we really do look out for each other. We've become so close, and like we all kind of alternate in kind of being the mother hen of the group, which is really quite sweet.
Amazing. That's literally what you want, isn't it? Like, dream scenario.
Exactly.
And then, if you were going to give some advice to your teenage self, what would you give it now?
Oh gosh. Think before you speak.
Yeah.
Think before you speak. I was so hot-headed and fiery, and I think I've transmuted that fire and that hot-headedness in a different format, which is very good. And it's great to see that the many years of therapy have absolutely worked. It's magic on me. But I was really hot-headed as a teenager, so I definitely think before you speak, and live your life for yourself, not for the spectators around you. And I think that is so important. And that is easier said than done. Like, as a teenager, you really do care about the environment you're in, about how you look, about how you present yourself. But when it all comes down to it, further down the line, none of it means anything. Like, it really doesn't matter. It's really not that deep. So yeah, live your life for yourself, not for the spectators around you.
Great answer. And how do you feel like social media has obviously a big part of the play? How do you think that kind of impacted your life and the world around you?
Gosh, I mean, well, when I was growing up, like, social media was very much the, I felt like we were the guinea pigs. We didn't really have a sense of it. We didn't understand how, like, I still don't know how to use social media. Like, I like scrolling on TikTok and watching video, like that's it, or like watching cooking videos. Like, I find it so confusing, and it's only getting more and more like advanced, and like it's difficult to navigate. And with AI and ChatGPT, like it's just all such a minefield. And like, it is so important because social media has the power to connect people globally.
Yeah.
And I think that is a special thing. Like, you can be talking to someone on the other side of the world and form a connection, a relationship, a friendship that holds more value than some of the people that you know in your own circle and you know where you're living. So definitely social media is powerful in connecting and building bridges with people that you might never cross with, but it is still very scary. Like, I think as I'm getting older, I'm like thinking about my online footprint, as you will, and I'm like, oh God, do I want to be using it as much as, say, I did when I was younger? Like, yeah, I don't know. Which goes against the premise of the play, but you know. Of course.
And then, what kind of keeps you inspired as a person and a performer?
I think the world around me. I think the communities that I'm in, my family, my friends, issues that are close to my heart and important. And I think, I feel like that was a very broad thing to say. No.
It's a good answer. It's real. My final question then for you is the simplest one. What do you want an audience to take away from seeing Liberation Squares?
I want people to be educated, informed, and I want it to galvanise people into taking a stand in whatever, against things that aren't right in the world, and that can be, something really on a macro level as well as a micro level as well as a macro level. I want I want people to feel empowered, and I want more people to understand and learn about what the play explores and deals with, because I don't think many people did. And I think if people were well informed, there'd be more discussions around it, and they'd be like, I can't believe that this is a thing, and we can't allow this to have the potential to impact certain communities and all communities.
Amazing.
And obviously enjoy the show and tell their friends, so everyone then comes and watches the show, so then it's a sellout.
Of course, there you go.
I mean, naturally.
Of course. Well, Halema, thank you so much. Just leave me to say, Liberation Squares opens Nottingham Playhouse 12th of April, and you're touring to Oxford, Brixton House, Birmingham Rep, Northern Stage, Sheffield, Crucible, Belgrade, Coventry and Bolton Octagon until the 8th of June. There we go.